Listen, listen, whispering within your soul, hints of laughter, hints of joy, sweet songs of sadness, of quenchless yearning for the light, for my love, your true home. Long your heart has played the dance, long you've toyed with merest shadows of the treasures left behind you, deep in your soul. Long you plumbed the dark for answers, long you've begged from beggars' empty hands, gifts of life they too were seeking, gifts none could share. Friend, how long will you wander? Friend, as long as you seek your home in a land where all are strangers, love locks her door. Leave to the weak his craven life, to the coward leave his dreaming. Oh, my saint, wake up, reclaim the light, seek the truth behind all seeming. Leave to the weak his craven life, to the coward leave his dreaming. Oh, my saint, wake up, reclaim the light, seek the truth behind all seeming. Turn, turn, turn within, in silence of soul, in cave of love, find my abode. Listen, listen, whispering within your soul, hints of laughter, hints of joy, sweet songs of sadness, of quenchless yearning for the light, for my love, your true home.
Even a little bit of the practice of this religion will free you from dire fears and colossal sufferings. The reason for that being that when you practice Kriya, what you're doing is generating a magnetism, a flow of energy which creates a magnetic field that offsets, by creating enough of a positive wave of energy, is able to protect you against whatever negative waves of energy may come to you through bad karmas and so on. So Kriya Yoga is not only a liberating technique, but it's also a protective technique, a technique that can help to generate a whole new karmic pattern in your life. I could use the illustration of an umbrella. You can't stop it from raining when it rains, but you can protect yourself from the rain with an umbrella. And so when you strengthen your aura, when you strengthen this magnetic field by increasing the flow of energy in the body, and particularly in the spine, then what happens is that you are protected against much of the bad karma that would otherwise perhaps even crush you. So it's even a way of helping you to walk unscathed and to tread a more successful and happy path in this world.
Hello again, friends. It's so nice to greet you today and to talk on this very important topic of everything will improve if you're making the spiritual effort now. I'd like to start with just a couple of quotes. First, from the Gita, as Swamiji said, even a little practice of this inward religion will save you from dire fears and colossal sufferings. From the autobiography, one Kriya practice of meditation is equivalent to a whole year of natural human evolution. And finally, Master said, I can take 5 boys of the worst type and tell them to practice Kriya in the way that I tell them. And in 5 years, I will make saints out of them. Aren't these hopeful quotes from the masters? And you can see when a person begins to start on the spiritual path and they begin to raise their energy and raise their magnetism, their whole face changes, the eyes change, the posture changes. The person feels so uplifted from coming to a kirtan, maybe going to a kirtan. After chanting, their heart is open, there's a smile on the face. After serving, giving of yourself to others, there's a change in the vibration of the person. After doing energization or yoga postures or Hamsa or Kriya Yoga or Om technique or being with other Guru Bhais, there's a definite change in your aura, in the energy around you. As Swamiji was saying so beautifully, it's like carrying an umbrella in the rain. It's raining all around you, but maybe you don't get wet because your aura is strong. Maybe there's karma coming at you, but it doesn't hit you as hard, at least. So you're strengthening your energy, you're producing more good karma, you're becoming more strong in yourself and more magnetic. And there's a change. After a person takes Kriya Yoga, when they walk out of that room, the temple, they just look like they're just soaring in light because there's such a change already. If people even stay for a couple of days at the expanding light retreat here at Ananda, the worried look, the fearful look in the eyes, the heaviness that they have, it just evaporates because the practices that we have of all the ones masters given of the Kriya Yoga path, of energizing daily at least once, of doing pranayama and affirmations and concentrating the mind through Hamsa, listening to Om and uplifting your consciousness and burning up the karma through Kriya, you feel like a different person, and you feel like a different person quickly and for the whole way. You're changing, you're changing, and so things around you are changing. Your attitudes are changing, your habits are changing, your behaviors are changing, your likes and dislikes are changing, your thoughts are changing. And all of that changes everything around you. So circumstances change in your life, situations change, things that are harmonious, or people come into your life, people disharmonious, they go out of your life. Disharmonious things that you don't need anymore, they go out of your life. And so this is very important. I know many people feel like, oh, nothing happens. I've been practicing for 6 months. And as Swamiji said, one lady came to him and she said, I've been meditating for 6 months and I'm not in samadhi yet. Well, these things take time. There's a lot that's been created and you have to take that back, take it away and dissolve it and get rid of it. And so let's look at physically what happens. It's so interesting because you can look at people. You can look over the years at yourself. Even look at pictures of yourself and see how you have grown in confidence, in strength, in centeredness, and joy, and willingness. See how you have grown. And I was so shocked. I saw one of my relatives recently. We were the same age. And honestly, she looked 20 years older than me. And physically, doctors have said, our doctor here at Ananda, for sure, that those who practice these techniques, meaning specifically Kriya Yoga, have better health and they look younger. And so maybe you have better health because of the practice, or maybe if you get ill, I find if anything comes, it comes and it goes pretty quickly. And so illnesses don't last so long. Maybe they don't come as often. Maybe you're strong enough to resist, or maybe you're strong enough to get rid of it quickly. So physically, just remember there's an aura of light and power and protection that's all around you, as every day you're pumping that aura bigger and bigger and bigger. And physically, maybe some accident was supposed to happen, it doesn't happen. Or maybe, as the wife of Ramakrishna said, Sharda Ma, she said that if it's a devotee's karma to break a leg and they're deeply devoted, maybe they just get a scratch. So I think people get a scratch, they say, how come I got a scratch? But you don't know what was supposed to happen if you hadn't been practicing. So physically, we get stronger and stronger, and our energy propels things that would naturally come, and maybe a disaster, maybe death even earlier. And so physically, our practices are made to make us stronger in ourselves. And then let's look at mentally. Well, mentally, you get a lot of willingness, enthusiasm, joy. I just remember many Ananda meetings that, sometimes things are going well, sometimes they're not going so well. What is the matter? And people go up and down. But I remember many times the meeting wasn't, not the meeting, but the things that were discussed, maybe they were difficult, but there was always joy, no matter what. There was always a base, a foundation of joy. And so mentally, you just don't have as many reactions or things that you're upset about, or attachments, or I like this, I don't like this, and she said this and that. You just pull away, and you pull away from all those worries and doubts and fears. And remember, Swamiji said once he had a mood that came upon him, and he sat down for 5 minutes, only 5 minutes. He put his attention at the point between the eyebrows and he burned it out. It was gone. And these things happen. And I remember that beautiful story of Jyotish and Deviji when they spoke of the forest fire here at Ananda village that burned down 21 of the 22 homes, theirs included. And Jyotishji's comment to Deviji when he saw her was, well, at least we don't have to worry about those leaks in the house anymore, in the roof. And this is the spirit of one who is seeking God and one who has God in his life, is that things, they go one way or another, but you're not as affected by them. I remember traveling to Nigeria in 1991, and it was an African trip to two and a half months to 3 different countries. And it was it was intense. It was so hot there, and there were mosquitoes everywhere. And we're just lined, at least we had shots, but we were lined with mosquito bites. And it was intense. I was living in a hut with no running water, and it was hot as ever. And I remember when we left there, we stayed there a whole month. It wasn't like 2 days. It was a month of just intensity. And but we were there to serve Master, and we just kept putting out the energy. And then I remember when we finally got to we were in a village. We finally got to a city where there was a supposedly nice hotel. We were in there and just, whoa. But I remember it had a phone, and we had no contact with the Nanda for a whole month. One person wrote, and I was Dambara from Palo Alto, but there was no letters, there was no phone to call anybody. We finally got to a phone, and I was just so much looking to talk to Swamiji. So I remember I called, and it cost so much money, and I heard the phone ringing. Finally, it's Ananda Village after a whole month, and then I heard Swamiji's voice, and I said, Swamiji, Swamiji, and then the phone just went click. That was it. couldn't talk to him. The line went dead. We never got him back. All that money went right down the drain. But you know what happened afterwards? And before and after, we had a wonderful trip. And so how are we going to say, nobody wrote us? And, we went into South Africa, had wonderful programs. I met people in Durban who I loved. We went back to Zimbabwe. We had a wonderful trip and went to the Kruger National Park after that. And, it was just divine. And so as you practice more, you're just not as reactive. This has to be my way. This person has to like me. They have to say what I want. It's okay. And this is why I love working with Jayaji, because in all these years we've worked together, and it's been more than in India, it's been in America as well. We've never had a disagreement. Now, I know most people can't say that about their spouse or their kids or whoever, the person they work with, their coworkers, but he'll say something and maybe I don't agree so much, but I say, oh, it's okay, let's try it. And I'll give maybe a goofy idea. And then he'll say, okay, let's try it. So what does it matter? And as you meditate more, you're just more and more in yourself and less combative, disharmonious, not cooperative. Why? And especially as you get on in life, you start looking for the exit door. You don't want to create more and more karma. You have to come back for that person, and Sally didn't like you and Jimmy didn't like you. At a certain point, you just say, I love everybody. That's what Swami used to say. I love everybody, because he saw the God in them. And then spiritually, what happens when we practice? Well, a lot happens. We disconnect. As we do Kriya particularly, and Hangsa in the spine, and Om really, but Kriya more dynamically, we cut the sense telephone wires. We turn our energy back in. We withdraw our energy back into the spine and into the chakras, and we escape. Isn't that a wonderful thought? We escape the pulls of delusion. We escape all the attractions of the world. We go into the cave of silence and we escape all the attachments and of people and things and who we think. We escape the delusion of who and what we think we are, that here I am, I'm a woman and I'm from America and I'm this and I'm that. You escape. It's just the best thing to get out of it. And where do you escape into? You escape from that and you go into who and what you really are in the spine. You lift the energy up to the spiritual eye, and you begin to see yourself as light, to see yourself as one of the wave on the ocean of cosmic consciousness. It's so wonderful. And as you do that, you realize that what I thought, what I felt, all of these things all along the path, as you keep going, they begin to fall away and they fall away, and you realize who and what you really are inside of yourself. So everything begins to improve. The most important thing is your contact with God. You have that. Maybe you say, I just have a little contact. I don't feel much. Then that grows. You have more. And then you have more. And the more you open yourself, door of my heart, open, wide I keep. And as you get more and more energy flowing in the spine, you have more and more contact, and more as you have more devotion. And you begin to feel that Divine Mother's always with you. I have a story of someone, it was a wonderful example of someone who was, they weren't attached to drinking, but they drank alcohol. And, for years and years. And then they met Swamiji, and this was in India. And they said to Swamiji, socially, I need to drink because everybody's drinking. And I mean, my answer to this is put something else in the glass. Why are you letting somebody tell you what's in your glass? And so she said, but is it wrong to drink? And what Swamiji said was, first thing, know that that is not who you are, period. Said, secondly, know that drinking alcohol is tamasic and it lowers your energy and your vibration. That's all he said. He didn't say don't drink, better not. That's all he said. And guess what happened? She went away and she never drank again. Wow. So you just never know. It could be tomorrow that a habit drops. It could be tonight. You just never know. And the thing I think is most important is the guru is changing you. We do the best we can, but what can we do? Honestly, when the guru comes in and makes a change, it could be overnight. It could be in a second. We're opening ourselves up to the changes. Divine Mother pours in her grace. And I remember Devi she told many of us this story. And she said, once she told Swami Kriyananda ji that she said, because he was talking about change and all that. And she said, I don't think I changed very much, Swamiji. And he said, how can you say that? You're a completely different person. And I would say that to you all. How can you say it? I mean, if you just look at the years even months that you've been practicing, there's a different person who's coming. The soul is starting to come and shine. The eyes are bright. The voice is uplifted. The energy is uplifted. You're walking better. The spine has energy flowing through it. And we just have to keep that going. And as we do, we find that what a blessing, what a blessed path, that as we go forward, we change inside, everything around us begins to change. Our whole life becomes in union, oneness with God. God bless you all. And I'll ask Nitendra to join now because we have.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Dhyanaji, the first question is, I have been meditating a long time and don't know if I'm really making spiritual progress. So how do I find that out?
Yeah. I think some people are looking for earth-shattering things to happen, a voice from above, a voice from the burning bush or something. It's not going to happen. These things are very subtle. And Divine Mother can come in many different ways. She can come in visions, of course, and I've heard some of you there say different things that have happened to you. They don't really happen much in America like that. But how do you know? How do you feel in your heart? Do you feel more love for God? Do you feel more inspired and more uplifted? Are you less reactive to people? Are you kinder? Just kindness. Are you more, you feel more energy flowing through you? Not even, I know some people who don't, in Ananda village, they don't meditate well, but they're saints. So are we saying you have to meditate well to find God? I think Master can pick up the pieces. Thank God we have 5 avatars guiding us. And so I think it's not that your meditation, I mean, try your best, but someone told me recently that for years they couldn't meditate. They had so many difficulties, mental difficulties. And they said they started out, they've been here a long time, they started out doing well, but then for dozens of years, they couldn't meditate. And then suddenly it came back. So how do we know? Is this person less worthy? No. Everybody has their own karma. I would say do your best, love God the best way you can, serve the best you can, meditate as best as you can. But don't make that, I meditate, I hear people, I meditate so many hours and I am, I'm one with God. Well, you can look in their face, they're not one with God, and so it's not what you're doing, is what's in your heart. God watches the heart. You must remember that fellow, Horace, who was a disciple of Master, and Master said he's nearly fully liberated. He could barely walk or talk. And the other more intellectual disciples said, well, oh my gosh, how is that, Master? And Master said, Divine Mother is pleased with his heart, with his devotion. And another monk said, well, it must be very simple kind of devotion. Masters, that's what God loves. Just give your heart to God. And that disciple at the end of his life, such a beautiful story. He couldn't even walk anymore. And he would just lie on the grass in Sanitas at the hermitage. And he pulled weeds in the garden just to please his guru. Just feel in your heart, is Master pleased with me? How can I please you, Master? What can I do better? You understand? And what attitudes can I change? I think the attitudes really, they show a lot. The person can be meditating. I knew people here meditating hours and hours. They had the worst attitudes ever of anybody. So look at yourself inside and see your heart. Is your heart shining with God? And if not, just keep working at it. It's not a sprint. It's a long journey, and we're all on it. And also try to help others around you. When I first came to India, I was thinking, well, gosh, I don't know why I was thinking this, but maybe because I was in India. When am I going to go through the spiritual eye? And what about my kundalini? Is it going to rise up, and the chakras, are they going to all fly open? And, and then after a while, I thought, that's all ego. And I don't want to go there. That's up to Master. I'm just here to serve. Whatever he wants is what I want and nothing else. And so gauge if Master's pleased in your heart, and then you'll know.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The next question is, there are still many ups and downs in my lives. Some things have improved, but some have not. So what would that mean?
Well, there's a lot of factors involved. There's karma, there's your own efforts, your Kriya practice. Are you serving? Are you doing what you can? The Guru's grace, are you drawing on Master? And also just if you feel like you're heading upward, then be happy with that. Sometimes you're going and you drop down, and okay, you pick back up, and then something happens, you drop down, at least you're going up. And if you start going like this, there's a problem. But as long as you feel that my journey is at least heading upward toward God, then that's the important thing. Everybody has ups and downs. All you have to do is read any book of any saint or master, any. And you'll find everyone had to go through tests to arrive, to strengthen themselves, to clarify what their intentions were, to put their hand in God's hand. Everyone's gone through it. So I don't know why people want just the rose petals in their path all the time. I haven't seen that. But underneath it all, I always felt there was joy, and that Master was there, no matter how hard the tests were or how easy the path seemed.
One final question is, what do if people around me are not trying to change themselves? Because it's hard to change when others around us are not changing.
That is the question everybody has, isn't it? Because it's always their fault. They're to blame. But be a cause instead of an effect. And be the person who's putting out energy rather than feeling like you're getting hit by it. If you're strong enough in yourself, then you just don't feel that much. Get centered in yourself. Get some Shakti going in yourself. And then people, they're never going to please you. Honestly, one day you're happy with them, the next day you're not. And there's so many delusions, and people are full of them. So we can't expect that people are going to change because of us. But be an example yourself. If you're an example, then people will see that example, and they'll, I'll tell you something that happened today, that at where I'm staying at the Crystal Hermitage, there is a big program there, and some people were coming, caterers and people to set up things, and it's a beautiful place for any program. And so the regular person who's there at the house wasn't there, and the other person was gone. So I was there, and they said, well, Dhyana, can you welcome people? And I said, sure. So I went in, and not the whole crowd, but the caterers of the people who were coming in to set up. Very nice people. So I went in and I said hello. And, first they were saying, oh, hello. People are kind of shy. They don't want to say anything. And I gave my name, and they said, oh, So then I thought, now how can I help them? And I thought they might like some tea. I said, would you like some tea? Yes. So I brought in a tray of tea, and then one lady was saying, God, it's so hot. I just feel like maybe I'm going to fall out. I mean, she wasn't going to fall out. I said, I've got some recharge drink. Would you like that? Really? And so then I brought out the chocolate, and so I just kept thinking, how can I uplift this energy? And it wasn't down, but how can I make it better? Instead of, they're making, I was peaceful here while I was alone. There was nobody bothering me. Now these people are coming. And isn't that what people think? But I thought, how can I give them master's love and vibration? So as I was leaving, the main lady says, are you leaving? You can't stay. I said, no, I have a class. She says, I'm going to save you a piece of cake. It's so sweet. But see how you can turn around a situation rather than waiting passively for something to happen and brooding and complaining and griping, and make a difference. Be the change, as it said, be the change, make a difference, be a cause. Don't sit back and let things happen or they don't happen. Make it happen. Now, what do I have there? I have 5 new friends. When I come back next time, if they're there, I'll have those same friends and more cake. So, okay, any more questions?
No, Dhyanaji, these are the only questions we had.
Okay, thank you, Nitin.